Alrighty. Spotty's back. I'm back today with something a bit different. I figured today, just have a bit of fun streaming. Just looking at One Piece, man. I love One Piece. One Piece is my favourite, probably my favourite anything, pretty much. It's my favourite story. Favourite thing to just like go back to over and over again. I probably read a decent amount of manga, but I probably read One Piece all the way through at different stages of its longevity. Probably about 6 times, I think, 5-6 times, and then I've watched it through once with my wife. So it's just one of my favorite stories of all time. It's really fucking good for a lot of reasons, as a lot of people know. It's just a superb story. So I thought, why not have a little discussion about it and think, where would I put all of these different arcs if I was going to rank them? Because I always sort of think about my favourite arcs and which ones sort of spring to mind immediately. And when I reread something, sometimes it reminds me that certain arcs are absolutely just balls to the walls crazy with how good the writing is, how good those arcs are. So I've just opened up a new tier list here. I've put all the arcs in order, and I'm going to go through in order from S to D in all of these arcs. So first up is Romance Dawn. Now, Romance Dawn for me is an arc that obviously it's very short. It's just the introductory. In the manga, gets handled very differently from the anime. The anime starts out on the ship that Alvida, I think, is raiding, and Luffy pops out of the barrel, meets Kobe. Kobe's like the main character for all of like 10 minutes of the story, isn't he? Which I think was quite a weak start, whereas in the manga, Romance Dawn starts with Romance Dawn on Windmill Village, or whatever the hell, wherever Luffy's from, with Shanks involved. And it's a really lovely start. It is that sort of the whole point of it being called Romance Dawn. It's got that. It is just romantic. It's that element of we are out here like bleeding for this dream that we have. We're out here to do it. Don't mess with pirates. The highlight obviously being when the mountain bandits crush the Shanks pirates, so the Red Hair pirates in the bar, and then leave victorious. Luffy's pissed off. He goes off in a huff and then gets caught by the mountain bandits. But then when it comes to actually threatening Luffy and putting something at risk for the Red Hair pirates, when is he the first? No, he's not the first mate, is he? But he's the fat guy with the chicken drumstick. He's eating the chicken drumstick and he literally just pulls over. He's like, fuck. It's like, don't mess with pirates. I thought that was just brilliant. So, Romance Dawn as an introductory, obviously you can't, I can't say, oh, Romance Dawn, yeah, it's the same as fucking Wano or something. But as an introductory, I think Romance Dawn starts off quite strong, and I think I'm gonna put Romance Dawn just because of the framing it sort of like gives. It sets you off in the right direction. I think Romance Dawn is a really good start. I was like, I don't give a shit about pirates. Iona, how we doing? I don't give a shit about pirates. Why the fuck would I read this manga? But it's so long though, so surely it's good. It's longer because at the time when I read this, I'd read Dragon Ball a couple times over. I'd read Naruto, I'd read Bleach, and I don't know if I'd read anything else at this point. Maybe I'd read a couple of other things. Might have read Berserk before I read this. That's possible, actually. I'm not sure. But I thought it's so long, and I remember reading Naruto weekly and thinking, right, Naruto's like 600 chapters. One Piece is 700 chapters. So it's got to be good. It's doing, it's doing more chapters than Naruto, and then Naruto finished, and then I think I read Bleach after that because it was shorter than Naruto, and I thought I'd get through one. And then by the time I got round to reading One Piece, it was up to like 780 chapters, it's 800 chapters, something like that. In fact, I think it was in the 700s because I think it was around about Dressrosa by the time I caught up. But Romance Dawn sets you off so nicely. It is a fantastic thing that sets the scene, that romantic element of adventure, of the thrill of putting your life on the line for something that you're dreaming of, whatever it be important. In Luffy's case, at that time, he puts his life on the line for the sake of manhood, which he obviously later comes to maybe change his mind about. The second arc, Orange Town. So we're going straight out of Romance Dawn. In fact, no, actually, Romance Dawn includes... It's an arc, I suppose. It's a short thing, but it does include picking up Zoro. I forgot about that. So, including picking up Zoro then, I mean, Zoro's established as a really, really strong character. He's willing to sit there and die on the cross for the sake of his word. He gave his word. Jason, Jason, just pack it in, mate. You're coming to shitpost, aren't you? Zoro is established immediately as a character of his word. He will die for his word. He's also maybe a little bit too trusting, something which we obviously see Luffy has in spades. Luffy obviously presents himself as the supernatural freak that he is at that point. We've established that he's now fully fledged. He's mid-piece and say bye. Damn it! This is by no way mid-piece. This is S tier piece, my man. And then it goes through. Captain Axe-Hand Morgan is a quality design. Helmeppo is a douchebag. It gives you a very short taste of this guy's a douche. I want him to get punched in the face, and then Luffy punches him in the face. It's the very first time that we see Luffy actually just smash someone to pieces. But overall, that part of it, Around Storm, the whole introduction, they're very good, very good. Kobe is kind of one of those parts of this that I'm not really that keen on overall, but Kobe, he gets better. So that takes us through to the Orangetown arc. So here, Zoro and Luffy, they've just picked up a rowing boat basically, and they end up meeting Nami here, who is introduced as the cat burglar. Very elegant, very sneaky, very tricky. Obviously tricks them in the process of meeting them. But we get some. I don't know. We've seen Alvida so far. Axe-Hand Morgan, who basically immediately introduces the Marines, but also introduces in Romance Dawn the idea that, the Marines are corrupt as shit. Immediately, the Marines are corrupt. But we've seen Alvida, who's a bit of a lame character, to be honest. Then we got Boogie the Clown. And Boogie the Clown, so far we've had Alvida, who's a bit naff, and then Boogie the Clown, who's, again, weird power, kinda. It establishes how freaky Devil Fruits can be. But as a character, like Boogie, much later he grows on you like mad. Like much later, the character is a much appreciated element of the storytelling. But for this early stage, him being an antagonist, for me, I read through it and I sort of think, And when I watched it with my wife, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, is she gonna bail on One Piece here, or is she gonna persevere through this? Overall, Orangetown is a bit mid, but it does establish Luffy's treasure is his hat. It establishes Nami is extremely competent, crafty, and also willing to put a lot at risk for something that we don't quite know what's going on here. But she's risking a hell of a lot for not very much treasure. At the same time, she learns a little bit about our main characters and sees his integrity. I think we get a bit of her perspective, don't we, on Luffy, the way he's basically trying to protect the town for that mayor who he punches up and knocks out, the dog in particular. Orangetown overall, for me, Orangetown probably, I don't really want to use the detail, I'll save it for later in case there's anything there, but Orangetown is kind of meh in the end. Syrup Village, though, the next village, we get Usopp introduced. Usopp's probably, I don't know, maybe could be my favourite character. The guy's so fucking based. And he's an annoying shit-faced liar the whole time that we see him in Syrup Village, which is the way he will be for a long time. He's weak, he's cowardly, although you see that when the time comes, he's willing to stand up for what he believes in. He's willing to put it all at risk. I'm talking to whoever the fuck I want, baby. I'm glad you hear those shuffle. Usopp's character, just naturally has this little shred of courage, which you can see in the character, which comes out time and time again when it's absolutely most needed. He will put all of that fear that he feels aside and actually stand up and be a man, which is one of those things. His tragic backstory with his pirate dad leaving his dying mother, and then his mother dying, and him basically trying to cheer her up with lies, crafting this character who's a liar, which then the throughput of that, the story of it is just a beauty, I think. So for me, Syrup Village, Kuro is in there, Zoro gets some good moments, Nami is established here in a way that's crafty, and you've got the humour that she creates. You can sort of see how strong her personality is. One Piece is trash, you son of a bitch. you have no opinion worth listening to. You watch Baki. That's just you like big muscles and very skimpily dressed men. That's all I can say about your tastes, mate. Spirit Village, overall for me, I think I give it. It's a 1-up from say Orange Town. I might move these slightly down depending on what comes next. But moving up, Baratie. For me, Baratie. In fact, I think probably I will need the space. Let's just move those like that for now. Baratie for me, we get introduced to Sanji, our cook, and we're already getting this idea. We can sort of see that Luffy's got this grand plan in mind. At this point, we see Luffy's grit and determination. We see that so far there's been Buggy, who he had no real trouble with. Zoro obviously got stabbed whilst in captivity. So Zoro's not been having a great time, but Luffy's shown himself to be better than this ridiculously renowned, murdering, conniving, very intelligent, super strong pirate. So he's already stronger than him. So we're getting hints about Luffy's strength at this point. And then Baratie comes along, where Don Krieg, a guy who has been to the infamous Grand Line, Don Krieg is introduced, someone who's been to this mysterious place. It's hinted at a couple of times. We're going to go to the Grand Line, we're going to conquer the Grand Line and become the king of the pirates. Baratie comes along, the restaurant floating in the sea, and Sanji's the chef there, and the way Baratie just takes no shit from anybody, including Marines, including pirates, is just great. Red Leg Zeph as a character, the gruff old man who's clearly got something way sort of like stronger about him. Don Krieg comes along and abuses his weakness. In the form of his ship, in the form of his crew, in the form of Sanji, perhaps, and they abuse the relationships there. Like you see Sanji's principles, you see Luffy romancing. It's all about the romance of becoming the king of the pirates. So Baratie, the romance there is the romance of the dream of being the greatest chefs, and this idea that you see the ridiculousness of them feeding this guy who's clearly about to fuck them up, but they literally cannot leave someone hungry as chefs. It is their duty, and you're wondering, that seems like bullshit. What the fuck's that about? It makes no sense. And then the backstory comes where Sanji's stranded on the island with Red Leg Zeph, and the reason that Sanji's on the island is because of Zeph. Zeph attacked the ship. Sanji announced his dream. He had the same dream as Zeph, to find the All Blue, the sea where all fish of all kinds swim together, the perfect chef's kitchen, chef pantry. And they're both stranded on the rock together, and Sanji gets the bag of food that's this big, and Zeph gets the massive bag of food, which 40 days later turns out to be a bag of treasure with no food whatsoever. And Zeph's hacked off his own leg in order to survive, his own leg, and Sanji's just brought to tears. And the whole relationship them two have, butting heads together. They both hate each other, but they love each other, but will never say it. It's just brilliant writing. And the moment at the end after, in fact, let me get back to that in a minute. So we're bringing back to Don Krieg comes along. They fed him. They fed the whole crew. They've gone out of the way to help these guys survive, and then they repay their kindness by attacking them and saying, "We're taking your ship. We're going to go back to the Grand Line." So the Grand Line's being built up. It's this gradual build. We've heard about the Grand Line. We know Luffy's aim. They know the crew's going to go there, and we've seen that Luffy's trying to build his crew members. We now have a navigator potentially in the form of Nami. We've got Zoro the swordsman. We've got Usopp the sniper. Sanji the chef is the next sort of target here. He wants Zeph to come along, I think, originally. Does he want Zeph to come along in the first place? I think maybe he has ideas like that, but then Luffy gets put to work in the kitchen. But we want Sanji to come along. We've got these sort of like 5 characters there who are going to be formed like this core to the crew, and we can see Luffy's building this towards this dream. But this guy Krieg has been with an armada. He has his main flagship, and then what did he have? Something like 100 ships, and apparently one guy on the Grand Line fucked their entire fleet up, and they come back ragtag with a ship torn to pieces. And then in the midst of the battle of fighting off Don Krieg, the one guy who fucked up their entire fleet, Dracula Mihawk, comes along and fucks up everything. He cuts their entire ship in half with his sword, and Zoro's literally there. His dream is right in front of him. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, but Zoro's dream is to become the greatest swordsman in the world, and the current greatest swordsman in the world is right there in front of him. And Zoro faces off against him. He's so outmatched, so deeply outmatched, and realizes it before long. and then resolves to die without a wound on his back. He takes it like a man. He takes a huge cut to the chest, and Mihawk's mercy to him is this sort of like gift to the story, and that then from that point on, upon recovering from his huge wound, they're coming back around again. At that point, he points his sword up into the sky, doesn't he? And he says, "I vow to never lose again. Do you accept me if I vow to never lose again?" And what does Luffy say? He says something along the lines of, "Of course I will. That'll be like the least you have to do if you're going to be the first time. Sorry, if you're going to be the great swordsman, and I'm going to be the king of the pirates," whatever he says. And it's just a really poignant moment, really strong. And the fact that Mihawk has been introduced. Now we've got the Grand Line. The fact that these strong guys, Don Krieg and all of their men, their 100 ships, couldn't fucking mount it. And then Dracul Mihawk, who just literally shits fucking coolness, literally just like oozes power. He fucked everything up. Fuck you, Jew. Why is every person who doesn't like One Piece coming in, apart from Iona? Shout outs to Iona. How you doing tonight, Jew? So this is just one of those arcs where it's so great at building and building and building, and we think, okay, right, well, now we got an also goal. Red Leg Zeph also has his diary from when they were on the Grand Line, because he's been to the Grand Line, and we know how strong he was in the past before he hacked his legs off, before he got old. Raiding with friends, nice. Before he has to hack his leg off. So we got that looming over us. Grand Line, the strength of Dracul Mihawk, the strongest in the world. We've literally got one of the strongest characters in One Piece right here in like chapter. What chapter is this? It's like chapter 30 or something, isn't it? Yeah, chapter 30 something, Baratie art, yeah. Which is just so sick for the reader to see, and it's this build-up. We're seeing things from there, and then with stories going along like this, and we're seeing things from like so far ahead, little bits of build-up, little bits of like hinting going on, things being foreshadowed, but Baratie then comes to a close with Sanji saying, right, he's going. They have to basically tell him he's cooking his shit and he needs to get off the ship for him to leave. He refuses to leave. And when he finally accepts that he's going to go, and he's going to go be the chef on this future Pirate King's ship, he says to them, owner Zeph says to him, and Sanji turns, he says, "Sanji, don't catch cold." In the manga, don't catch cold. Which sounds so fucked up. The English is so like weirdly, syntax is wrong, isn't it? But it breaks me. Sanji breaks down in tears. Someone he's not shown any love or emotion to at all his entire life, but has given him so much. He breaks down in front of him and he says, "I'm going to miss you guys." And he basically screams, "Oh no, Zeph!" And it's just great. For me, Baratie, I think, goes into A tier. Moving along a bit quicker then, Arlong, just as we think we've got our 5 crew people, we find out, Willow, how we doing? You want to hear the bad takes? Willow, you're a One Piece fan. You're a One Piece fan, maybe. Arlong Park, we think we got our 5 crew people, 5 crew members, but then we find out right after Baratie that Nami pulled a fast one, hoodwinked the 2 bounty hunter brothers, and took off. The line breaks didn't work. Oh yeah, of course he won't. This is Twitch, baby. We don't got line breaks in here. People would abuse the shit out of that. So we find out that Nami's taken off, and we think, so we just thought this cat burglar, maybe she's going to be a really, really important element of our ship, but we took that crew member for granted. We haven't established anything for her. We've had a backstory to Usopp. We've had a backstory to Zoro almost. Yeah, it is there, but it's a smaller one. We've had a backstory, but I suppose he's a simpler character in that essence as well. We get more from him later. We've had one for Sanji, and of course Luffy, the main character. We've not really had too much for other than Romance Dawn. However, we're now going to get into Nami's backstory and think, why has she just left this crew? What is she angling for? Why is she the cat burglar? And Arlong Park sets up this whole thing so well. Fishmen get introduced out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, there's another race, and you think, what are they going to do with that race? This race is horrid, and you as a reader are thinking, well, fishmen are fucking bastards, aren't they? We don't want anything like that. Like the fishmen are portrayed so badly, and we don't get anything more from fishmen for a long time. So Arlong Park introduces them. They're absolutely tyrannical. They are horrendous. It is some of the worst oppression, enslaving that has gone on. They are literally killing people who cannot pay an enormous ransom on their town, and there's a bunch of towns on this island, all in order for the building of a huge pile of treasure for Arlong. In order, I can't remember what his actual goal is. I think he's just trying to build a crew up, get all the maps, because Nami's a navigator. She's a cat burglar and a navigator, so she's 2 for 1 here, and she's an excellent cartographer. She's drawing all the maps based on information that her crews get in. Then they're going to take over the entire region, the entire quarter of the globe. I think is it East Blue. I think they're in East Blue here, aren't they? Arlong Park. Are we still in East Blue? What does it say? Don't actually know. Which is one of the quarterings of the world, isn't it? But then the fights are really good. You're interested, like how is Zoro going to fight? He's just been slashed up. He's in no fit state to fight. How's Luffy going to deal with this big bad who is so strong? Fishmen are 10 times stronger than humans. How's Usopp going to fight? The guy's a coward. He can't do anything. Sanji's probably the only character you know, right? He's going to kick some people. So you're interested in that. And then what's Nami going to do? Nami, halfway through the arc, kills Usopp, and Usopp's dead, except he's not, and that's the twist. And we the reader see that and understand that something deep is going on here, and the backstory of Nami and her sister and the village and her mother being killed to protect them, just so that they don't have to pay the ransom. The town can survive. It's fucking brilliant. And the build up to the fight, finally, when Luffy finally gets his chance. He gets trapped early on, which is the standard One Piece thing. It starts this whole trend of Luffy being taken out of the fight for a long time, doesn't it? Where he's trapped underwater and everyone else is doing their best to make it so that he can get back in the action and fight the big bad. And it also sort of establishes that because Luffy walks straight up to Arlong and fucking clocks him in the jaw, and he gets sent flying. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's the second great punch of the series out of many, but it establishes this long-running thing where Luffy is a conqueror. Luffy is the king. Luffy has his ambitions set to the very top. The only person he's interested in defeating is the person at the very top. There are incidental people who get in the way along the way in certain arcs, but he's always focused at the very top dog. He doesn't concern himself with the second in command, the third in command. He knows his crew is capable. He knows his crew inside out. He trusts them with his life. He trusts them with the rest of his crew's life, because he knows that if Zoro fails, then it could mean the life of some of his other crew members, but he knows that Zoro won't. That's his trust in his crew. And this is established and it's built on. But Arlong Park, the climax is so strong when the entire symbol of her suppression of Nami's oppression of Nami's slavery in the cartography room at the top of Arlong Park and the big tower there is smashed by that enormous hammer move that Luffy's got. I think it is he calls that one his hammer, doesn't he, where he shoots his leg up into the sky and then drops it down. It's so powerful, so good. For me, Arlong Park is another A-tier story. I might need a fucking S+ up here, maybe even more, who knows. So finishing up Arlong Park, Nami, the moment where Nami's stabbing the tattoo that Arlong's put on her shoulder, stabbing it off herself, just absolutely wounding herself, and Luffy grabs her shoulder and she's just screaming at him saying, you've nothing to do with us. And he's like, I know. He's like, you don't know what we've been through. He's like, I know. You don't know what Arlong's like. I know. And then she just breaks down crying and says, Luffy, help me. And he puts his hat on her head. And the payoff from Orange Town, where Nami 4 arcs ago, by the way, 2nd arc, 3rd arc, 4th arc, 5th arc, like 4 arc span there. This is basically the culmination of like a mini arc almost of Luffy says, never touch my hat is my treasure. Nami repairs it for him, sews it together after Buggy stabs it up a bit, and then from then on it never gets harmed again in the entire series. And Nami is the person he trusts to put his treasure on, his absolute most greatest treasure. He puts it on top of Nami's head and then takes off to fuck up Arlong, and then culminates in him smashing to pieces the very symbol of her oppression. It's just fucking so good, man. So good. It's absolutely just exceptional, sublime writing. And I think by this point my wife was thoroughly trapped by the story at this point. she knows a good story. She's read a lot in her life. She loves reading. She's an English teacher for 16 to 18 year olds, that sort of age. She studies a lot of writing, and she fucking loved this whole sort of like build up. And then Loguetown, or I suppose it's Roguetown, but Loguetown. And I think eventually there's been maybe a retcon for it. Loguetown becoming Logtown, as in something to do with the logs. I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering that wrong. But Loguetown. This it's kind of naff in my mind. Luffy's just far too, for the ambition that he has. He's far too accepting of his death. Especially when, you know, later on we see things like in Whole Cake Island, he's literally willing to tear his arms off to escape a bad situation to get to his crewmates and save everyone, achieve his dream, that type of thing. Whereas in Loguetown, he's just like, well, I guess that's it, I'm getting my head chopped off, fair enough. Which I know that's early on, and maybe he just believed in fate would come and help him there, but I don't know, maybe just felt the serendipitous nature of him being executed on the exact same platform as the Pirate King. We get this moment there where he gets saved by pure chance by a lightning bolt striking the execution platform, and then later chased by Smoker. So Captain Smoker at that point, is he Captain Smoker? Major Smoker? Something like that. Smoker, such a cool character introduced, but we get now this new devil fruit type, so the Logia type fruits, where you can't touch them, you can't hit them, but they can do things to you. Smoker making parts of his body completely untouchable, and then absolutely just like blasting Luffy in the face with his with the sea stone juk, or whatever the hell his stick is called, and Luffy's completely immobilized. He can't do anything against him when the most wanted villain in the world. So we just had Draco Mihawk 2 arcs ago in Baratie come along, and then the most wanted criminal in the world, Dragon, Monkey D. Dragon, comes along, and it is revealed that he is is it revealed there that he's Luffy's father? Monkey D. Luffy. Maybe he's just called Dragon at that point. Maybe he's not, and he's just saying, I want to see how this seed grows, or something like that. Loguetown for me is a bit up and down. I'm not too fussed about Loguetown. It's really good. It introduces Dragon, and then we realise much later that Dragon's power was to do with the weather in some form. It's him who had that influence to bring that storm in to make it possible for the crew to escape, for make it Luffy wasn't on that platform anymore. His influence there allowed Luffy to escape and get to Reverse Mountain there. Not much to say about Reverse Mountain. It's kind of just like, yeah, whatever. They arrive at Reverse Mountain. It's weird as fuck. In the manga, I don't recall it being explained too well what's going on with Reverse Mountain. Obviously, there's 4 quarters to the globe at this point, and all of those seas connect to this one mountain with 4 entire oceans, like pushing water up towards this mountain. So it goes from 4 points into one, and then at the very top it goes down the other side into the Grand Line. And maybe the anime did it better, I can't remember, but in the manga I remember being confused as hell about what the fuck was going on with this world. But there's a waterfall going up and then down the other side. Reverse Mountain, they all make the vow, don't they, that they are the monkey, they are the Straw Hat crew. They got the beers, they put the feet on the barrel. It's all very emotional, and then they get to the side and they meet Laboon. And Laboon, the giant whale, has been bashing his head against the Grand Line, and it's established that now they're on this side of the Grand Line. They can't get over. Is it the Red Line? The Red Line is an enormous cliff that circles the entire world all the way around, and this enormous whale, 1,000 times bigger than their own ship, cannot bash his head the way through it. So you know that there is no way off this path now that they've started on it. It's really good from that point. It shows Luffy's determination as well. You think this whale is never going to be satisfied, they're just going to have to pass on, but then Luffy socks him in the eye and has a fight with the giant whale who's fucking a million times bigger than him, and basically says, that's enough, we're rivals now. You don't harm yourself again until I get to the other side of this mountain, and then we can have another rematch. Basically, I want you to stop. Like how it's just brilliant, because there's a writing point. I remember thinking, I have no idea what's going to happen here. I don't know how they're going to stop this whale here. How's this plot line going to be resolved? And in the meantime, there's a couple of spies or agents, it seems, from some organisation, who are obviously from an organisation it's been paid from, trying to hurt Laboon. And it's like, what's going to happen here? and then Luffy socks him in the eye, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, what's going to happen here, Luffy? What the fuck? So, it's just brilliant the way he sets that up, and then Laboon's got a goal, something to wait for, and Crocus, the doctor there, is absolutely chuffed to chips that Laboon's not harming himself on the Grand Line anymore. His scarred head's going to stay able to heal itself for a good while, and that leads into those two shifty agents leading to Whiskey Peak. Reverse mountain for me, it's good. I love the introduction of Laboon. It's probably better than Loguetown for me. I enjoy it a bit more than that. Moving into Whiskey Peak, interestingly, just looks like a welcoming place. We've had all this foreshadowing about the Grand Line being this macabre place where so much stuff happens that is just unexplainable. So much happens that's so dangerous. We've had Don Krieg's fleet getting shipped back. So you think, nice welcoming town. They're getting served food and drinks. They're allowed to, get bored and probably breakfast as well in the morning. It seems it's all a bit too convenient, isn't it? It's too good to be true, and it's quickly proves itself not to be. I think the reader probably understands that as well. Whiskey Peak then, though, bolts into really good combat, really strong combat, and then from there we get a few more of these Baroque works. Baroque works get introduced, this shadowy organisation where the two villains we've had already are from. And we get a few more from there as well, and it is revealed, I think right there and then, that one of them is a princess who is infiltrating the shadow organization, and she is under threat big time. She's really under threat. It's a terrible situation for her. So Whiskey Peak, for me, I think it's a good bit of combat. It's a good establishing moment for a lot of things. You got the Luffy versus Zoro fight, which I think is widely claimed to be one of those that just got sort of like forced in because we wanted some Luffy versus Zoro action, when in reality I don't think it really would have gone down like that. Maybe I think I agree with a lot of other people when they say that. Whiskey Peak, I think overall as an establishing shot, establishing sort of point here, I think it works well to serve its purpose of introducing the other elements of Baroque works, some of the other agents, the fact that they've got a main agent and then a partner, the theme of it with Miss Wednesday, Miss All Sunday, Mr. Seven, or whatever the hell they're called. So you got the numbered one and then the week-based one or the date-based one. I like it. It's good. It could be better, but it's good. And then Yon Mondo, if you can see him, I can't remember his name, but the guy with the hair seemingly sails off to inform the Kingdom of Alabasta of what's happened here, and gets assassinated. And on their way out, they meet Nico Robin. Seemingly somehow, and she's clever how it does it. It doesn't show in the manga or in the anime how she's sort of like taking Luffy's hat, how she's incapacitating members of the crew, but she's doing it effortlessly and with all the confidence in the world, and she knows she just assassinated Vivi's attendant, that guy she's known for her entire life. It's good writing, but I don't know, for me, maybe could have been a bit of a better start. I think maybe I'm pretty hooked at this point, but stick it in C for that one. Little Garden, though. Little Garden has big ups and downs. So Little Garden moves into the two giants. They're moving on. They're trying to be careful about which way they go. They got the two giants there who are fighting each other. Baroque Works basically destroys this 60-year. I don't know how long they've been there. I think it's like 60 years or 100 years. They've literally been fighting for 100 years or so on this island to determine who is the stronger warrior, to basically prove who... Well, actually, I'll get to that at the end of the arc in a sec. Who laid claim to a better claim a long time ago. There's a nice mirror there between Sanji and Zoro, in the way that Sanji and Zoro compete with each other as staunch rivals to one another. Baroque Works is set up as such devious bastards. They do so much in this arc, which is completely just like you are seething. You want them to die, but this is where Oda's supreme writing chops start to come in. You are supremely pissed off at the situation. You are, as a reader, basically you feel a bit violated. Like you want these giants to finish the fight in an honourable way, but that's taken from them. You want the Straw Hat crew to win their fights, but that is taken from them. Luffy's been trapped by a giant underneath the fucking skeleton of a giant beast. Nami's rendered ineffective. Vivi's Vivi, Nami, and Zoro are all up on a giant candle wax cake being waxed to pieces. Zoro's resolve is shown, where he's literally going to chop his own legs off to continue to fight in order to get out of this situation. And when that option leaves him, he literally just stands there with a pose. He's about to die and get frozen in place by wax, and he poses. And in all of this chaos, in Usopp battling for his life, in Luffy being manipulated by powers that are more complex and for something that he's not able to figure his way out around, which shows one of Luffy's vulnerabilities and why he needs the crew around him, because he can't deal with a power that literally just changes his emotions. He can't deal with can't remember her name, the little girl who has the paints, who literally change his emotions, make him target specific targets. He can't deal with that, and in the midst of all this, we've completely forgotten about Sanji. Sanji's nowhere to be seen. Sanji's not there. Sanji's somewhere else, and in all of that chaos that's been happening, this repeating theme that we get many times in successive arcs, where Sanji is the keen eye and the very cunning mind to understand that perhaps maybe a little bit of fortune involved in this one. Maybe this one's a little bit of right place, right time. But he picks up the Den Mushi, the snail communicating machine. Well, it's actually a telepathic snail, isn't it? And speaks to the big bad number one, or is he number zero? Number one, isn't he? Speaks to number one, the top dog, and says, "Hello, this is the shitty restaurant." And it's so fucking funny. And he just pisses off number one, whoever the hell he is. He realizes that some shit's not right, and he sends some more agents straight to Little Garden to figure out what the fuck's just happened and assassinate anybody who's not been doing the job. And it's just great writing at that point. And then the resolve comes, and then they defeat those members of Baroque Works. For me, Little Garden, I think because of how literally I'm riled when I read that or watch it. We'll stick Little Garden right there. The resolve is the big payoff. I really like the resolve. Drum Island, we get our sixth member of the Straw Hat crew in Drum Island in the form of Tony Chopper. Tony Chopper, the reindeer who ate the human fruit. Is artfully introduced. Snowy environment. We're getting introduced to these different climates. So we had like a tropical jungle climate on Little Garden. On Whiskey Peak, it was kind of like almost like a western feel. So it had this more like dry, sandy climate. We get introduced to the fact that there are 4 different weather types. So you get Winter Islands, Spring Islands, Autumn, and Summer Islands, who all then have 4 seasons within their own climates. So you get a summer island in summer that's boiling hot, a winter island that's just the coldest cold, so on and so forth. And I think we're in the midst of winter on a winter island here on Drum Island, I think, when we arrive there as readers and viewers. Drum Island, it's I think the story goes on too long, and I think the villain is not strong enough to really hold the reader's attention with excitement. Like, the excitement is sort of, it's there, but it's a lot of build up to actually get into fuck Wapol up, because Wapol he's just a fat dude with a beard who eats loads of stuff, who's an asshole. He's a proper asshole, and we get a lot of these villains early on. It's probably one of One Piece's like weakest parts, in that the villains up to this point, if we're talking, Don Krieg was really cool, Arlong was really cool, but we've also had Kuro was cool, but his cat boy crewmates were all just a bit Boogie the Clown, Alvida. Smoker was really cool, but then the Whiskey Pete Baroque Works, some of them were a bit the guy flicking his buggers, and the girl making herself heavy and light again, it's just a bit. And then Drum Island comes along. Wapol, he's kind of there, so it takes a long time. I don't think Tony Chopper's origin story hits as well as it could. I think if Oda had the chance to rewrite that, Chopper's origin story could be a lot better. Overall, Drum Island, for me, when I read it, I'm always just sort of waiting a little bit here to figure out what's been going on, but we do get some hints here for later stuff. So on Drum Island, we get the fact that this entire kingdom has just been destroyed by, I think, 4 pirates. The Blackbeard pirates came along with 4 of them, I think, and they destroyed the entire kingdom. Everyone, and that's why the Wapol, the king, had to leave. For me, I think Drum Island's around about where Little Garden is. That sort of moment there. But then it does establish then, because they need medical help here. They need medical help. They've gone there to get medical help, and they need that. And we've got a doctor now. We've got a doctor in the crew whose backstory of medicine is tragic. We get some really good characterization about what. What's the theme there? So we got what's the theme of is it following dreams? Something like that. I can't remember. Everything's about following dreams throughout the entire series, but we got some nice characterization anyway. Characterization of Chopper, of whatever his doctor like master was, whatever his name was. We got Dr. Greyharm. We've got what's his name? I can't remember the name of. You can see the guy's face right there. Where is he? Drum Island. You can see him right there with his pirate ship flag. But Drum Island, once it's finished, it's now built up from Whiskey Peak. Well, actually, from when we went over Reverse Mountain into Whiskey Peak, into Little Garden, into Drum Island, we've now got 4 arcs in a row with Baroque Works as the main antagonizing force, or having caused Vivi harm moving into Drum Island. The reason that she is currently ill is because they had to go to Little Garden. They had complications there. She got stung by or bit by some sort of dangerous mosquito and is now in terrible position. So they go to Drum Island, but the whole time they need. Or is it Nami? No, it's Nami who's ill, not Vivi. Sorry. Oh, Christ, yeah, that's actually a good point that I missed. Nami is the reason they go to Drum Island, not Vivi. Vivi is the one who says that it's okay that they go to Drum Island. They say it's going to take an extra, 8 days to get to Alabasta, or Arabasta as it's now called. It's going to take them an extra 8 days, and she's really keen to get back to her kingdom and save it from this terrible, terrible leader of Baroque Works who's there. And if she says if it's going to take an extra 8 days, then it's going to take an extra 8 days. We've got to go to Drum Island, sort Nami out, because obviously that's more important. So Drum Island is good in the end. I think it's better than Whiskey Peak, Syrup Village, Loguetown. But then we get Alabasta, and Alabasta is the first taste in One Piece of the absolute best that it's got to offer, in my mind. We've had 4 arcs directly building up for this, but it's a payoff to all of these 10 arcs that have come before it, a payoff to that in the characterization that we see for all of these characters in so many ways. It's absolutely insane. We also did find out in Drum Island that those 4 or however many people came in Whitebeard's crew and fucked up the entire nation. Someone else came looking for them. Someone else was hunting for them and came looking through, and then left a message for Luffy saying, I'll be in Alabasta for the next 10 days or something like that. Meet me there. Luffy doesn't get the message though, and doesn't know about this, so we, the reader, have this little bit of dramatic irony in that we know there's somebody waiting there, and we don't know who it is or what it's going to be about. So Alabasta, we get there, Smoker's there, the Marines are there. It's a massive desert environment, completely different from the rest of anything we've seen before. We get introduced to a casino, we get introduced to a royal palace, we get introduced to this basically, it's like sort of almost like Saudi Arabian, like Arabian Nights type environment, and it's completely distinct visually. The clothing that which they get is completely appropriate, and they all have to disguise themselves and be ready for the desert, that type of thing. We've got this element of heat and exhaustion, that type of thing, all the traveling they've got to do, and the fact that there are elements of the enemy who are making shadowy moves around them at all times. And then when Smoker is chasing Luffy runs into Fire Fist Ace, his brother. Ace is there, and he's got this elative moment where he's just absolutely buzzing his tits off to see Ace, and it's so good. You, the reader, are like, he has a brother. What the fuck? He has a brother. This is so good right now. I'm hype as shit about this. So Alabasta introduces Ace, and then once we see that Ace is strong enough to fight off Smoker, a person we had no idea, how the hell do you even fight Smoker? We see that he's the flames to Smoker's smoke, and he manages to escape artfully. Potentially in the anime, it actually pits them and shows their fight in the anime, Smoker versus Ace, but it doesn't in the manga, I don't think. You might see an initial sort of like blast going off. And in the anime, it actually says, Ace says, hey, we're evenly matched, this is no good. And then he dips. But in the manga, he just appears later with Luffy. They're being hunted by some ships on the open water in the bay, and Ace literally effortlessly takes them all down. And then you get this wonderful moment where Ace is meeting the crew of his brother and his ship, and it's just brilliant. He's so happy to see that these reliable people are looking after Luffy, and he even warns them about Luffy and says that he's trouble. I need you all to, look after him in my place because I'm not going to be around at all times to look after him. Thank you all for doing so. They share a drink, and then there in the manga he goes, but in the anime he stays for a bit longer, which is fair enough. The anime establishes him as more of a character than we get in the manga. My wife loved that. My wife absolutely loves Ace, favourite character in the entire series. So Alabasta up to that point is really good, and then we get this whole thing where Nico Robin, who we've already got a bit of a tie to, number 3, who we've already seen in Whiskey Peak, number 3 reports back to them. He gets chomped up by a crocodile, and we see Nico Robin scheming, crocodile. All of that is happening just there. So Baroque works his scheming. We see Luffy take his first loss. We've not seen Luffy lose. Up to this point, we've seen Luffy obviously be a young boy there, but in Orange Town, he smashes Buggy to bits. He messes up Alvida. He messes up Kuro. He messes up Don Krieg. He messes up Arlong. His name's in the arc. He messes up Arlong, and it's kind of like he's just so much stronger than him anyway. Arlong has a 30 million berry bounty. We don't really know what that means at this point, but from that we know that Luffy is extremely strong. But when he was no longer under the water without any strength, as soon as he came back out, everything that Arlong threw at him, he was capable of dealing with already. At the very start of this series, the very first arc, Orange Town, Luffy's already nothing to mess with. He is top tier. He is the strongest in the entirety of West Blue, East Blue, West Blue, whatever blue it is. He's already established to be so strong, and yet we see him lose and potentially die by all rights. He should be dead. He's in a desert with no water. We see Crocodile and how powerful he is. We've now got Smoker as a Logia, Ace as a Logia, and this Logia here of sand in a desert. He can suck the water out of you. Just by touching you, you are with his right hand, I think it's his right, you are going to get your life sucked out of you, and only by the pure chance that Nico Robin was having second thoughts about Crocodile, having second thoughts about her allegiance to him, and comes back to help Luffy survive and gives him meat, because obviously that heals Luffy as he goes. Only by that whim, by that little bit of luck there, and obviously writing, does he get this second chance. We see him take this loss, and oh boy, we as a reader are absolutely like, shit, okay, this is Grand Line proper. This is Grand Line for real. And at that point, we think, well, how can Luffy... We're just seeing Luffy use all of his best moves and be completely ineffective against Crocodile. Crocodile is a warlord, just like Drackle Mihawk was. How the hell is he going to beat this guy who's just shown that he's so much of a league above them? I think at this point he might have already said that he's been to the second half of the Grand Line, fought Whitebeard, and Whitebeard put him down. Maybe that was later on. But from there, we've got this elaborate plot all coming together. The king assassinates number 2 Bon Clay, posing as the king, assassinates one of his citizens or something like that, and it kicks off this entire rebellion. The entire thing starts off. Vivi is in tears. The whole thing is just superb. It's just this elaborate web that's been weaved across multiple arcs. And then when finally all of these fights are taking place, you see Nami. Nami gets a new tool. You think, how the hell's Nami supposed to fight against these assassins? And Usopp's dreamed up an inventive tool for her, which just seems like bullshit at first, and then it comes through for her eventually when she figures out how to use it. You think, how the hell can she use it? And then her extreme navigational weather and sneakiness all combines together to make this amazing character specific tool, which is so tied to her knowledge. If it wasn't for her ability to understand weather systems and understand like the air pressures, lightning, hot and cold, and the way they interact, like it's bullshit, but it's so clever the way it's given this to her, because she's not physically strong, but she is powerful in mind. She's got such a strong willpower, and they've given us such a cool tool. And the fact that Usopp did this, Usopp showing himself to be a crafty tactician, and on top of that, so he's an inventor and a tactician. We've got Chopper being excellent in terms of analytical skills, in terms of being able to show his different abilities off. Zoro learning how to listen to the way everything around him breathes. He basically gains, and this is where the story starts hinting, Chopper was lit. Zoro to cut steel, basically to be better for Luffy, to be one step closer to his dream, to defeat number one, can't remember his name, Daz Bones. He needs to be able to cut steel, because Daz Bones is at the steel fruit, or the sharp shot, the razor fruit, I don't know what the hell it is, but he's made of steel basically, and creates blades out of his body. It's good, Jew. It's damn good. He, in order to defeat him, must become a man who can cut steel, and to cut steel, he needs to be able to cut whatever he wants and not cut whatever he wants. So it flashes back to his old master, who doesn't cut a piece of paper with his sword, but then immediately after cuts a rock in half. And he has to become a man who can cut steel, and the only way to do that is to hear the heartbeat, the breath of everything around him. And this is the introduction, I think that's the very first introduction of observation haki. Observation haki being this awareness of what's around you, basically being able to sense things, and Zoro gaining that in that fight is just a little hint of something more. But then when it finally comes back to round, Sanji fighting Bon Clay as well is a good fight, but Bon Clay, but then Crocodile versus Luffy part 2, you immediately see that Luffy is not just the stupid bonehead he looks like. Obviously, we've seen his conviction. Obviously, we've seen how he doesn't care what the details are. All he knows are, for example, Nami is in pain and something needs to be done about it. He doesn't care about the details. He's got this conviction, this love for others, and his dream that he wants to achieve, and those around him that he wants to be at his side, he cares for deeply. And at this point, we learn that he's not just a moron. And he obviously is a moron, but he's extremely clever at the same time and attuned to things. Actually, in fact, we've already seen a little bit of this, because when we arrive at Drum Island, Luffy, who this point has been rash and basically just wanted to get to the point and smash people to pieces to get to his goal, Luffy, the moment he arrives at Drum Island, he's about to wind up and fight the inhabitants of Drum Island as they see this pirate ship's just arrived. And Vivi says, no, don't, and he immediately stops, rethinks his plan, and bows his head to the people of this island, and bows his head to them. Instead of, he could easily take them all down, but that presents a risk to Nami, and he bows his head and begs for this. So he's got the humility going on. But in this fight with Crocodile, when he comes back to fight Crocodile, it is just so good, because he comes at him and immediately absolutely socks Crocodile, and Crocodile doesn't no-sell the hit. He can't phase into sand anymore, and he takes the hit to the face straight up, and he's there left on the floor, absolutely panned out. And you see this moment from Crocodile where he says, wait, how did that happen? Could it be? And then Luffy says, water. Basically, he coated his hands in water. He's got a big barrel on his back full of water. And that is the first hint within the entire story. Alabasta, we are Alabasta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 arcs basically away from learning about haki proper. 12 arcs, and this is the first hint, because Crocodile right there, he's been to the second half of the Grand Line. He's been to it. He knows haki. He knows how people use haki to attack Logia fruits, and he, in this first half of the Grand Line, doesn't have to deal with that because everybody's so weak by comparison. That's why he's building his strength here. It's why he's looking to mass his forces and gain an ancient weapon here in the form of Pluton. Oh, that's another point as well. So I'll come to that in a second, but we see this hint that maybe Crocodile's thinking something more, but then we, the reader, can immediately pass that thought by, because we immediately find out Luffy's got water, and Crocodile's obviously talking about that, but he's not. And for the second time this fight's going on, we are absolutely buzzing. There's so much going on around, and then Luffy's defeated again. Luffy gets, finally this time, the first time he got absolutely hooked through the belly, impaled. The second time he loses, he gets the mummification. He gets all of his water taken from him, and he immediately, upon knowing this is about to happen, shoots water up above his head. Maybe it's luck, maybe it's skill. He spits water up out of his mouth, up into the air, and then he gets grabbed. All of his water gets taken from him. He's lost. Crocodile moves on. The story moves on, and then that water comes back down and lands in Luffy's mouth, and he regains his hydration. Stay hydrated, peeps. Let me on that theme. Stay hydrated. He has a lot in common with Wolverine players, yeah. A lot of luck involved. So we've also, at this point, learning about... in fact, at this point, maybe... Yes, because Nico, Robin, and Crocodile are literally asking King Neferati, or whatever his name is, where is the ancient weapon? Where is the poneglyph? What is the location? Is it here? And... shout outs to fucking 20 arcs later, that being paid off, by the way, if you're up to date with One Piece. So we're finding out all this shit, all this crazy stuff. We've got things like 2 warlords now we know about, and one of them is the strongest swordsman in the world. Crocodile, this conniving evil dude, is nigh on unstoppable. He's defeated our main character twice. All of these other characters around are being defeated, but the rebellion wages on. The weight of the kingdom rebelling against its king, who they falsely believe is a traitor and basically hates them and is exploiting them. There's also the whole rainwater thing, where he's basically stealing the rain. Is the sort of like trick that Crocodile pulls. He makes the people in this desert country think that the king is stealing all the rain for himself. It's so powerful. And then we get this confrontation. The weapon is being talked about. The poneglyph has been found. We get this confrontation. There is a bomb somewhere in the kingdom which is going to blow up. Vivi and the rest of them are now have the objective to find. And from that point, Crocodile versus Luffy Part 3 comes along, and he's out of water. He's out of options. He's out of his mind. And he has to fight Crocodile again with nothing now, except he is actually landing punches on Crocodile. Crocodile's getting pitched up. And the reason is now, instead of water, he's coated in blood. He's been battered and bruised, and he's coated in blood. And he's just swinging. He's just punching. And there's this beautiful imagery where Luffy is in the crypt, in the tomb, underneath the main plaza, fighting Crocodile, and Crocodile is basically the public face of the Shushibukai, whatever they're called, the 7 warlords. He's there to protect them. They consider Crocodile the hero of the country, and the king is the person who is destroying everything, making everything terrible. And he is secretly an underground mob boss who is exploiting them for everything it's worth. He's going to ruin their country. He's the underground mob boss, and Luffy, hammering him with his machine gun blows, destroys the earth above him, punches Crocodile up and up and up through the ground, basically exposing him for the underground rat that he was. Literally, just he's the dark underbelly of this country that's shady. It's shady, sort of like mafia, pretty much. And he exposes it to the light above. He basically casts sunshine on what's been happening here, and everyone understands suddenly what's been happening. And the moment that the fight is over, the drought, the desert, the sunshine gives way to rain pour. The downfall, the sunshine basically has come with Luffy exploding into the ground there. Sorry, into the ground, through the ground, up to the surface. And now that Crocodile's unconscious, the moment he goes, the rain falls and the people's woes are ended. Vivi screams out, people stop, but there is still the matter of the bomb, and one of the characters, what's his name? Pell. Is it Pell? I think it's Pell. Pell takes the bomb, someone we've been connected to, someone very close to Vivi, takes that bomb, flies into the sky, and sacrifices himself for the good of everyone else. But he's still alive. Pell's still alive, and I believe the throughput there is that arc concluded. That storyline was coming out. It was written pre 9/11 and then was going to be published post 9/11, and I think it was published post 9/11. So this massive bomb going off in a highly populated area around about the time of 9/11, they sort of Oda retconned it, and Pell survived, and that's where that sort of came about. Alabasta, overall, for everything that it does, the conclusion of this sort of like five arc story, the way it's been built up, the way it concludes, how powerful it is, how emotive it is, how clever it is, how much every character gets involved. And I think this here is where One Piece really sets itself apart from other manga, because so far we've had these cast members established. By this point in Bleach, Ichigo's the only character who matters. Like Chad, who gives a shit? Orihime, who gives a fuck? Like with Naruto's becoming obviously like the main powerhouse. He's still not, you know, there's still characters more powerful than him, but like what's Sakura doing really? This basically the him and Sasuke show, but a lot of his other like teammates, there's good elements they used well, but eventually they fall by the wayside. But we're starting to see here in One Piece how the whole cast is utilized for their strengths, abilities, intellect, and personality traits, courage or cowardice. It's all used so superbly, and I think Alabasta absolutely is an S tier arc without a doubt. It's so good, so damn good, really strong. So that takes us through to the first conclusion of the first big arc, with Jaya and Skypeia coming up next. So Jaya and Skypeia is its own sort of like mini duo arc, and we don't really know where we're going to lead to here. Oh, in fact, actually, there's a point of Alabasta that I've just missed. So the whole time on this Alabasta arc, before they even arrive, they know that there is someone there who can. They know that there's someone there who can mimic faces and impersonate someone else. So they tie a white bandage around their wrists, which has underneath it a cross, which they cleverly use as a moment to identify each other, and realize that this guy who can clone themselves, Mr. 2, he is amongst them, or could be amongst them, and they use that to identify him because he just thinks it's the bandage itself is the ribbon. But they got this cross on the wrists, and Vivi rides to the coast as the Straw Hat crew leave, and basically just to show that I can't leave, I am the princess, I have my responsibility here, I have to do what I have to do. But she holds up, I think they all turn her back to her as they sail away, as she's speaking to them, and they hold their wrists up with the cross on, and this beautiful shot of all of the 6 members of the Straw Hat crew, with what is now in effect the 7th member of the Straw Hat crew holding up her symbol, as well as Karoo, the big duck that she rides on. They've all got the X on them. She is through and through a princess of a kingdom who is a member of the Straw Hat crew. And all this time, Smoker was in there. Oh yes, Smoker as well. There's so much about this arc. Like, I can see why people have made so much content reviewing these arcs, because there's so much. They're so deep. Obviously, the escape from the casino, the fact that they spurred Smoker, Sanji spurred Smoker. That's a Sanji spurred Smoker. Sanji spurred Smoker. That's a tongue twister. Sanji spurred Smoker at the behest of Luffy. Luffy basically wanted Smoker to make sure that guy survived throughout the flooding of the basement of the casino, where Smoker would have died because it's seawater and he would have drowned in there. He wouldn't have been able to escape. So there's all of this going on, all of these things set up. The Marines are set up basically again sort of as this corrupt organisation, because they're covering this up, they're covering up what happened. They're basically saying that Monkey D. Luffy is this terrible force, when all he's done so far is fight mercenaries, fight underground shady grounds. He's basically saved a kingdom, yet we the reader are treated to Luffy being treated as a criminal, as a convict, as a person to be brought to justice, despite pretty much him displaying exactly what is justice. which takes us through to Jaya. Jaya is the next arc, and after any enormously powerful emotive arc like Alabasta, where everything's tied together, you sort of lost as to where it goes after that. However, we do get a lot of sort of like narrative throughput throughout this. Of course, we've got the startings of like little bits of haki. We've been taught about this ancient weapon and the blueprints for it, or Pluton being the weapon itself or something like that. We've got these mysterious stones left behind, and as they leave Alabasta, Nico Robin invites herself to be on the ship. Nico Robin, the 7th crew member, is immediately accepted by Luffy, much to everyone else's shock and surprise, but Luffy's judge of character, having had a bit more dealings with everybody else than everybody else did with Nico Robin whilst in Alabasta, he trusts his judgment and he says, yeah, of course you can be on our ship. Everybody else is completely skeptical. And then Nico Robin systematically goes around winning over each one. Each person on the ship gets won over, apart from Zoro, because Zoro is steadfast in his belief. He will not budge on his belief that she is not to be trusted, and likewise she's given him no reason to trust her and plenty of reasons not to trust her, which is part of Zoro's character. And we start to see this basically responsibility that Zoro's taken, because Sanji, the womanizer, is absolutely in love with the fact that this beauty Nico Robin is on the ship with them. Zoro is not so easily swayed, but we'll get to that later. Jaya. So Jaya, this next arc, it's an establishing arc with some quirky characters, some dickhead characters, and some really important characters as well. Here we see how much longer have we got? We've got these 10 arcs, 11 arcs. Basically, Romance Dawn established that in a moment where nothing was at stake, where some mountain bandits were just spilling some booze in a bar, smashing a bottle over Shanks' head, we see that Shanks does nothing but laugh. His crew do nothing at all, and they just laugh it off. And Luffy is pissed off as fuck. But in Jaya, we see the exact same situation with Bellamy doing that exact same thing. Bellamy criticizes the dream that Luffy has to go to Sky Island. I say the dream, he calls it a dream. Basically, you're a dreamer. And the reason I want to go to Sky Island is because he's found out a bit of information about Sky Island as a ship literally fell from the sky to introduce this next arc. So you're wondering where'd you go from Alabasta? And the very next thing you see on the Grand Line is a massive galleon falls from the sky out of nowhere that's been up there 100 years. There's skeletons on board. It's just genius writing. It all ties in so nicely. They got these divers who they're having a fight with, who become a character that we're interested in later. So an enemy is formed with these divers because they fight them, and then they later become friends. Bellamy is established as this big douchebag hotshot who's got this bounty. We know that Bellamy's bounty is something like 60 mil. 60 mil. He's the hot rookie. He's the hot rookie now on the scene, Bellamy. He's the big dog. And from this, we know as a reader that Luffy has I think 100 million bounty right now, 100 billion, and I think Zoro is the only other bounty, and he's got 70 million. So there's two members of the Straw Hat crew who have a higher bounty than Bellamy, and Bellamy's talking smack. So we know this. Johnny Bravo, robot guy, that's Frankie. Frankie, one of the best characters. He's coming up soon. So we know that Bellamy, we have this dramatic irony in the sense that the reader knows that Bellamy, just by the numbers, just by power level, over 9,000, we know that our boys, Zoro and Luffy, have power levels over 9,000, and we know that Bellamy is basically Nappa in this situation. However, Luffy doesn't know that, Zoro doesn't know that, and Bellamy sure as fuck doesn't know that, otherwise maybe he'd wind his neck in a bit. And what we see is, we see Luffy and Blackbeard, the introduction of this character, are complete opposites. They're both sat at a bar where Bellamy comes in and shortly later smashes the bottle over Luffy's head. But we get introduced to Blackbeard here, but I'll come back to Blackbeard because Bellamy does this, and previously we saw Luffy absolutely livid that he would let those mountain bandits, Shanks would let those mountain bandits make a fool of him and his crew. But Luffy now, knowing more, wiser, older, more experienced, knowing more about what actually matters, doesn't care that this has happened in front of him. Doesn't care that this idea of going to Sky Island has been mocked in front of him, or dreams are being mocked. It doesn't matter. This guy's irrelevant. He's a nobody, basically, is what he's saying. He's nothing. And both Zoro and because Nami sort of has this position that they need to do something, they need to kick their asses, but Nami is the one, according to Luffy and Zoro anyway, who's in the wrong. So now we have a reason to hate Bellamy, definitely, as a person who needs comeuppance, but we're not going to get it. And we've got this Blackbeard character who we've just met. He was inside the bar before that happened, ordering basically whatever Luffy likes, Blackbeard doesn't. Whatever Blackbeard likes, Luffy doesn't. And then we meet Blackbeard outside, and the one thing that Luffy and Blackbeard agree on, they are polar opposites, but the one thing they agree on, and Blackbeard says it, is, basically, he slates Bellamy for not believing in dreams. Blackbeard believes there is a Sky Island, and that it's possible to go there. He believes in it, and he basically says that people who don't dream, that don't have these ambitions, will never amount to anything in this world. So Luffy and Blackbeard are on a level despite being polar opposites, and it's a really great establishing of this guy Blackbeard, who we have no idea who he is. He's not given a name, and only a little bit later we find out who he is. So this leads into, they go back, they meet with the Monkey Brothers again, the ones in the diving bells, they're doing the diving, establish that he's got some treasures. Bellamy comes and fucks him up whilst Luffy's somewhere else. And basically Luffy then is on a warpath. He says, make our ship ready to go to Sky Island, because he figured out a way to do it. Make our ship ready to go to Sky Island. We are going in like 4 hours. I'll be back by then. And he runs all the way clear cut across the island, which, by the way, we've seen the map for the island and we know what it looks like. There's hints there about something later. There's so many hints dropped throughout it. That's why it's good. It's such good writing. He goes, Bellamy's popping off. Bellamy makes a fool of Luffy again in front of everybody. Everybody's laughing, but when Bellamy comes to fight Luffy, he's springing around like a fucking moron because he's a spring man. And Luffy clouts him side of the head, and you see the fist imprint on the side of Bellamy's head. One punch, literally fucking boom. Absolutely clouts him. He's out cold. Bellamy's literally whited out. There's nothing left in that brain of his. Literally got stamped. And it is the third really satisfying punch in this entire arc. So Jaya, for me, it's got some ups and downs, but I think it's a really good arc. I think it's better than Drum Island. I think it's really solid, and I think potentially I might need to just maybe move some what do I need to do here? I think I might need to move. Let me add a row above. Maybe call it this. Maybe make it this can just stay right over. Add a row above S+, something like that. Wait, what? Oh, this one's S+. I think I might need. I'm definitely going to need a mana. Like this. So Jaya's really fucking good. Which then moves into Skypeia. Skypeia, it's a sky island, an island in the sky. It's completely removed from the world below. It's really hard to get into it. But before we do get to Sky Island, the person, Blackbeard, who we just established is the opposite of Luffy, is the person who Ace has been chasing. He's the person who basically is going around terrorizing people. He now sets his sight on Luffy because he learns that Luffy has a very high bounty and is worth capturing now in order to achieve his goals. So we see this guy chasing Luffy, and now we are removed from that. We're taken up to Sky Island, and now all of the goings on in the world below are completely removed. We have nothing to do with it. And for a long time, this is a long arc, Skypeia. It goes on a long time. It's great writing. It's great character building. It's great world building. It's a complete world. Like you could write an entire story just about Skypeia and have it be 10 arcs. But it's one, and it kind of feels a bit removed right up until the last part of the arc. It's within the One Piece world, but is it really that great? I don't know. A few things that it does do well: it establishes that observation haki can be more than just what Zoro used it for, in sensing the breathing of things around him. It can also be foresight into the future, although it does not tell us this. It doesn't say, again, haki is not established until another 8 arcs from now or so. It doesn't tell us this, but there is this power that these people have mastered to be able to sense into the future a little bit, to be able to see what's going on. It's pretty much all they can do. They have this mantra that allows them to see, basically see a slight bit into the future about what's about to happen. They can really sense as well a long distance away where people are, especially NL because of his power. So we get that, and we also get another Logia fruit that is terrifying. It is a god power, and he treats it as such, and he believes he is God. And Luffy is the person who is in direct opposition to these gods. He is there to save the people, basically. He's not there to do it. He's not a hero by any means, but he wants to destroy this guy to basically help people that he cares about. It's a really well written story. The backstory between Noland and what's the warrior called? I can't remember the warrior. The backstory in the past of Skypeia matching up to current day is superb. It's just a bit long and feels a bit disconnected from the rest of the world. Overall, I think for me, Skypeia is going to be an A or a B. I think potentially just because of how long it is, I'm going to put it in B. Just because, it's a roundabout little garden drum island. It's frustrating. It's a bit too long. It's a very good finish, and then it connects up to the poneglyphs. Goldie Roger has been to Sky Island. It gives us more information about that, and then from there. Yeah, it does, especially in the anime. The anime is so fucking long, but it's also really good. And when it finally connects all the pieces together and you see that the Sky Island, Skypeia, is half of Jaya. Jaya is literally connected both in story and arc and sort of like continuity. It's connected literally. Half of Jaya Island is on the ocean, and half of it has been blasted up into the sky by the very method that Luffy and their crew took to get up there. It's a bit contrived. It's a lot of battles. It's a battle royale that doesn't really feel like it. Like if you think like Dragon Ball tournament arcs are superb, aren't they? Especially like Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball tournament arcs are absolutely superb. Skypeia has a similar sort of format, which is exciting, but it's not used to the same degree. I don't think Oda uses it quite as well as that. However, what we do get is Enel's exceptional power, which I think Oda said if Enel had been on the seas, his power with his skill level of observation haki would have given him something like a 500 mil bounty or something. I can't remember. It was somewhere in that region. He's extremely powerful, really strong, and if he'd learned and mastered other types of haki, perhaps he could have gone on further. We may see more from Enel still, because he's blasted up to the moon. He's currently on the moon with a civilization up there, which also has its own lore, potentially. But yeah, it's a great finish because he is God, and Luffy is the absolute opposite to his God. He is God, and Luffy, as Monkey D. Luffy, he is basically God's demise. He is also diametrically is that the word I'm looking for? Diametrically opposed. Yeah, I don't know. Basically, he's diametrically opposed to. He's the thunder god with lightning powers, and the man made of rubber. He is literally the opposite, and it's in character and in skill and in personality and in the makeup of their bodies. It's a really satisfying close to an arc that's just too long, basically. Which takes us to Long Ring Long Land. What the fuck? Long Ring Long Land. Which is short, but still too long, in my opinion. Like the foxy pirates come along. They've established that there's some cool people there. A short dude with a massive long horse who we absolutely love. Really cool horse. Tons of personality. Everything there is really long. The characters love it. And then just through sheer will, ego and stupidity, Luffy enters into a Davy Jones bout where basically they are offering up crew members as a reward for basically money matches. The money match, it's just money match. They're fighting each other for keeps of crew members. In the manga, it's not too bad. It's still too long. Like the bouts are interesting, but not too good. We get some good stuff between, say, it really shows off Nami's understanding of the sea, understanding of currents, understanding of like tactics within this race. It shows off all of the characters' personality. Like the one thing that's supremely strong about Oda's writing is that all of his characters are always true to their character, no matter what. They are true to their character. Usopp is Usopp through and through. Chopper is Chopper. He's absolutely devastated. When Chopper gets put in the Davy Jones pirate uniform, when he gets lost to them, he is absolutely devastated. He is so upset, and he's so cute at the same time. Like Nami is so intelligent and clever. Sanji and Zoro are both completely stubborn and both very much antagonizing each other during this, much to the dismay of Chopper, who's already been lost and feels like they're about to lose a second crew member. In the anime, instead of 3 bouts where it's like basically they lose Chopper and I think they steal, doesn't Luffy steal, do they get Chopper back? I think they get Chopper back second, and then third he decides to take the flag after he wins. In the anime, I think it's like 5 or 7 or 9 fights, 9 competitions. It's fucked up how long it is. It's insane. It's so much filler. If you're ever going to watch this, just get the filler list up and avoid all the filler, please. It's just madness. However, once it's over, Nico Robin is, after everything's over, after they got all the crew members back, Nico Robin is immediately after that put into a trance. This woman who is so strong, competent, and cool. She's calm. And she's shaking. She is shaking, sweating, and basically telling everyone they need to run. Everyone needs to run right now. A Marine Admiral, one of the top people within the Marines, has arrived on this island that they're on. And she is terrified, and we immediately see this Marine freeze an entire ocean. He freezes like a few mile long stretch, massive wide stretch of ocean, just by dipping his finger in. We establish his power as nothing to fuck with. We've literally just come from a place where thunder was the element of choice for our Logia powered devil god, and now this guy controls ice to the point where a dip of his finger in the ocean freezes it for fucking miles, further than you can see. And he does it in order to help this resident whose horse is injured, and they're going to go across this to catch up to the rest of their civilization. He's literally saved this guy the pain of not seeing family for like 20 years or something like that. He now gets to cut straight across to where the rest of his clan is. He can go straight there without having to wait for the tides in and out that takes years. And then once he's gone, Aokyoji, or what we call Blue Pheasant, Aokiji, turns his attention to Nico Robin, and he's immediately setting his sights, and he's basically saying, maybe I should let him live, maybe I should let you go, don't know, maybe you're too risky to live. And he's flicking back and forth. He's one way, he's the other way, he's one way, the other way, and the crew's anxious as fuck, and immediately he just says, actually no, you are too dangerous to live. And he just gives Nico Robin a hug, and she is frozen as that sea was, and it is terrifying. The end of Long Ring Road, or whatever it is, Long Ring Longland, is so good at establishing her dark past, so good at establishing that something about her is too dangerous to let live. Because he started off by saying, you guys are going to be let down by her. Basically, she's going to betray you, or she's going to be the cause of your demise. She is poison, you need to get rid of her. And then he decides on a whim, actually, I'm going to kill her right here, right now. And he does, and he hugs her, and she's frozen, and she is, for all intents and purposes, dead. And the crew immediately fights this guy without thinking. They start fighting, and then eventually Luffy sees what needs to be done, and he says, I challenge you to a duel. And much to Aokiji's disappointment, he realizes immediately once that's been said, he realizes after he freezes and defeats Luffy fairly effortlessly without taking any sort of damage whatsoever, he realizes that Luffy's trapped him in this duel, basically saying that once you've lost this duel, everyone else is free to go. And then they are in the shower trying to warm Nico Robin back up. She's trying to thaw her out, and they have to basically go get Luffy and escape out of there, and basically thaw him out afterwards. It's a crushing defeat after what was a bit of a long and just a bit too long of an arc. It's a crushing defeat, but that end of it is so strong, because now we know that something is fucked up about Nico Robin more than anything else we found out before, and more than her cunning, more than that she's been a spy. Something is fucked up about her, to the point where we, the reader, are now completely trapped with both the intrigue of Nico Robin, but also, holy fuck, how do we fight an admiral? An admiral literally just took out Luffy, Nico Robin, froze the fucking sea. How do you can't hurt him, and he can freeze anything that touches him. How do you even begin to fight something like that? And these questions are being established here. We've had it with Smoker. How would you do it with Fire Fist Ace? We've had it with NL. Obviously, Luffy got looked out with NL. We've had it with Crocodile. crocodile, and we had some, we could use water to fight crocodile. We could use rubber to fight NL with his lightning. How do you fight smoke? How do you fight fire? Maybe with more water, but I don't know. How do you fight ice? Do you need Ace to come back? All these questions are running through your head as a reader, and it's just like, what the hell is where's it gonna go from here? And you're thinking, right, well, that arc was a bit weak apart from the end of it, and now you've sort of hooked and you don't know where it's gonna go. So this arc for me, I think it's probably about as good as Skypeia. It's like a short version of Skypeia. It's kind of interesting. It's a bit too long for what it should be. Obviously, Skypeia is like 35, 40 chapters, maybe 60 chapters even. Long Ring Road's probably only about 20, 25, but maybe even less than that. But it still feels a bit long. But that end to it is so good, and it sets up the next thing so well, because the ship is falling to pieces. Usopp, since the beginning, has been trying to patch up the ship little bit by little bit, but Usopp's an inventor at best. He is not a shipwright. So they need to find a place. They need to find a place to fix their ship, and the place to go is Water 7. I think Nico Robin suggests that she knows where to go because she knows a little bit more about the world than they do. She's been around a lot longer than most of them. In fact, I think at this point she's the oldest member of the oldest member of the crew, because Luffy's like 18, Zoro's not far off, Sanji's not far off, Nami's not far off, Usopp's not far off. In fact, they're all about much of an age. Chopper's Chopper could be like 5 years old for all I know. So she is by far the oldest member of the crew, and she's existed on the Grand Line for a long time. So she's a fantastic addition for them for a lot of reasons. She's also extremely capable and powerful. She was like defeating like the second strongest warrior or the strongest warrior of Alabasta literally effortlessly. She's great. So Water 7 is such a divergence from what we had before. So previously we had this beautiful setup where we went sort of reverse. Well, actually it's set up, Romance Dawn into Orangetown, into Syrup Village, into Baratie, into Arlong Park, and it was such a beautiful build up that way. And then we got the same build up again. We went Reverse Mountain, Little Garden, Drum Island, with Loguetown as well, Whiskey Peak. We got all of those leading up to the culmination of Alabasta. Superb, but now all we've had is this little separate Jaya into Skypeia arc, and then we're sort of this little introduction. We've got an admiral, and we've got Nico Robin's intrigue, and it really leans into that intrigue about Nico Robin straight away, and creates this wonderful world of the shipbuilding mecca, the shipbuilding shipwright paradise in Water 7, where they are trying to find themselves. They've got tons of money from Skypeia, tons of it, and they're trying to find themselves somewhere trustworthy to get their ship repaired. And things start going south immediately, and there's so much being woven here at the same time. The crew splits up. They've got different roles to fulfill. Luffy, Usopp, and Nami are going to fix the ship. Usopp's so caring about the ship. He can't wait to get it fixed. It's his passion. He really loves it. It was given to him by probably the love of his life, maybe we'll say, even though he's left her to pursue this dream. Also, I forgot to mention before, he now has a second dream, so maybe his dream of sort of like maybe finding his dad on the sea and becoming an adventurer was one thing, but now since Little Garden, where those giants were, he now wants to visit their home, where they come from, to explore the land of giants. Can't even remember the name of it. It'll come to me eventually. In a future arc, potentially, he wants to explore the home of the giants. Elbaf, that's it. He wants to go to Elbaf, where the land of basically courageous giants are. He wants to basically have the heart of a courageous giant. That's him, despite his cowardice. Now, he, at this point, is feeling potentially like he's weaker than everyone else. He's done so little. He's failed in successive battles. In his own mind, he's been weak and potentially could have done more. And in this case, he's the one who lets all of that treasure that they got from Skypeia, which is going to fix their ship, all of that treasure gets stolen because of him, and he feels absolutely dreadful for it. He feels too weak. He gets beaten up by Frankie's and the Frankie House family. And he feels absolutely devastated by it, and he feels like the reason the ship is not going to be able to fix it is because of that However, we also get this blow where the Going Merry, our ship from the beginning, ever since the Syrup Village, that we get our actual ship for the story here, the Going Merry, the keel, basically the spine of the ship is damaged beyond repair, and to replace the spine is basically to replace everything that connects to it, which basically means that ship, in essence, cannot be repaired. And with that, obviously, Usopp, being the most connected to the ship, is vehemently determined that the ship is fixable. They're pulling his arm. They're trying to pull the wool over the Straw Hat's eyes to get them to buy a new ship. Yeah, Theseus' ship, exactly. They're basically trying to trick him and con them into paying more money. Luffy believes and trusts his instinct that these people are telling them the truth. And the characters being established here are really good. By the way, Iceberg and all of the shipwrights are really fucking great characters. They're being established as super strong and capable, as you'd expect in the Grand Line, because they need to deal with pirates, and that's why they are so strong. And we really like them. They're so likable. All the characters are really likable. And Luffy, doing what he needs to do to strive towards his next goal, cuts the Going Merry out of his plans and basically says we're gonna get a new ship. He's obviously hurt by this, but you can sort of see that he has to be the captain. He has to lead in this situation, and that causes Usopp to basically freak out. I think he leaves the ship at that point, not as in leaves the crew, but leaves the ship, and he goes to try and get the money back from the Frankie house, and he goes there and gets absolutely trashed, battered to pieces, and only by luck at this point does Nami come across him battered in the back streets of Water 7. In the meantime, some shady figures have appeared, and Nika Robin has disappeared as well. She's disappeared, and Chopper and Sanji are looking for her, which is just this wonderful sort of setting up of almost like a murder mystery. She's disappeared. Who was those shady figures? Who's done it? And in the meantime of this murder mystery being sort of wound up, Water 7 also has then Usopp coming to heads with Luffy about the ship. Luffy is steadfast in his determination to replace the ship, to take the Going Merry and see her off and get a new ship to carry them forward towards the dream of being the Pirate King and conquering the Grand Line. And while that's happening, Usopp is just utterly unable to accept this, and it comes to heads, and he basically questions Luffy's leadership, at which point Luffy cannot abide by him having his leadership questioned. It is not something which he is able to take. Basically, he has to basically shout down Usopp and tell him that if he doesn't like it, he can go. And at that point, he says you can fight me for it, or something like. I think Luffy suggests that they fight for it, basically, or something like that. Or maybe Usopp does. It sounds maybe like something more like Usopp would do. I can't remember. Usopp suggests that they fight for it. If he wins, I'll leave the crew and I'll take the Merry. The Merry's mine, or something like that. And at this point are thinking, wait, Luffy versus Usopp. Usopp, the guy who basically has resorted to shooting Tabasco sauce, to having a giant hammer that says 20 tons on it that's basically a balloon, to this guy who's just all tricks and gimmicks and no strength of his own whatsoever. He's basically been battered to pieces by every single opponent he's faced. How is he going to fight Luffy, who is this absolute demon at this point, who's defeated one of the 7 warlords, one of the 7 strongest pirates according to what we know? Where's this going to go? And then we wait till nighttime, and you thought that part was kind of lame. Which part, Jew? Do you mean the fact that Usopp and Luffy are going to fight at this point? For me, it's probably the most significant part of the arc. Because the conviction of Luffy to forge a path forward for his crew, and to look forward, and to almost like ruthlessly cut out the Going Merry, who Usopp sees as a member of the crew. Usopp is so tied to that ship. It's a part of his home. and it's something that was given to him by someone who he loves and possibly, is his love interest. He sees the Going Merry as his responsibility, as he's been trying to patch it up this whole time. And he also, on Skypeia, saw a vision of the Going Merry. He believes that he saw the Going Merry, and somehow the Going Merry magically fixed itself. He believes the Merry is a member of the crew, as important as Zoro or Nami or Chopper or Luffy or Sanji. Like, he believes in that, and he believes that at this point Luffy is just abandoning a member of the crew, and that's how powerful this conviction is. And it sort of strikes this point home. It really hammers this point home that willpower within the One Piece universe is the most important thing when it comes to your conviction, but also comes to your ability to fight for it. Willpower is the key thing, and that's exactly what Haki is. It's willpower. It's the will to be the conqueror. It's the will to basically survive, the will to understand what's going on around you, the will to be able to overcome insurmountable odds. And when they come together, you think, how is Usopp about to fight Luffy? This doesn't make any sense. Luffy's about to smash into pieces. But by this point, Usopp's been through all of Syrup Village. He's been through all of Whiskey Peak, Drum Island. He's been through everything that happened with the Creek Pirates. He's been through Alabasta. He's been through Skypeia. He's picked up dials from Skypeia. Basically, he's been accumulating knowledge, tactics, and tools. He's got tools in his kit, and also alongside that, there is no one who knows Luffy's abilities better than him. There's no one with more understanding of Luffy than him. Because naturally, Usopp looks at tactics as a big thing, so it immediately becomes clear that he is prepared immaculately for this, and he doesn't just give Luffy a fight. Luffy's actually struggling for most of this fight until the bitter end, when the rain is falling and Luffy absolutely finishes Usopp off and basically says, you can have the Luffy. We're going to take all of our stuff. You can have the Going Merry. Sorry, you can have the Luffy. You can have the Going Merry. And the rain is falling, and Luffy's crying, Usopp's crying, and the Going Merry in the rain herself is flooding tears, and it is so powerful. And at the moment, and that's happening with the backdrop of another member of crew in Nico Robin being missing, Nami and Zoro being unable to stop Luffy and Usopp going at it, Chopper and Sanji feeling guilty about losing Nami. The crew that we've established in all of these arcs, the crew that we've got together, we the reader are fucking buzzing about this crew. This crew is top tier right now. They've just gone and done so fucking much. Skypeia beat that big bad up there. Alabasta beat that big bad there, and now it's fallen apart. It's the very first time there's been any conflict within the crew, and it is so significant that Usopp leaves and Nami and Nico Robin has disappeared. At which point we also then have the assassination straight after this of Iceberg. Iceberg is being assassinated, and it turns out that he's been assassinated, or an attempted assassination, for the purpose of getting his blueprints for a secret weapon for one of the ancient weapons. I can't remember which one this is. Poseidon? No, Poseidon is another one later. I can't remember the name of this one, but he has the blueprints to an ancient weapon, and this shadowy organization who we are now learning called CP9, who is a government organization, a government who oversee the Marines. We now understand there is even more to it. So before we had a shadowy organisation in Alabasta, all the way through Reverse Mountain, Little Garden, Drum Island, Whiskey Peak, Alabasta, we now have a shadowy organisation in the sense of, well, this is even deeper. It's not a criminal organisation with a guy at the top who's supposedly a hero, but is actually the villain. This is the government themselves, who we've established is corrupt, from the Marines at least, and then there's questionable ethics and morals between the lot of them. We now have them directly murdering and setting up and framing others in order to gain more powerful weaponry. In this case, this ancient weapon, which is now being set up as something. We're getting more and more information about it. And Nico Robin is part of the plot. She's one of the assassins. She did the assassination attempt, basically. So we are being betrayed left and right. We are losing crew members. Everybody is currently at each other's throats. The crew has fallen apart. And in the midst of all this, it's looking so bad. Luffy is defeated. Zoro is and sent flying. Zoro is defeated. Nami is left tending to Iceberg, I think, with Chopper. Usopp is nowhere to be found. We don't know where. She's hella sus. We don't know where. We don't know where it's going. Basically, it's raining. The storm is coming in. This huge tsunami is going to come. The Aqua Laguna or whatever it's called. We don't know what's going to happen. And just like we had before, where everything is falling to pieces on Little Garden, everything is bad, everything is literally the worst it could possibly be. Sanji, with his sharp intellect, with his sort of focus on the prize, has found that Nico Robin and CP9 are leaving Water 7 to get to a place called Enies Lobby, somewhere they will be unreachable from. We've been told that once they've left, they will not be able to be chased because of this storm coming in. The only way off this place is to get on that sea train, and Sanji is on board. We see this shot where he's literally just he's in the shadow and he's lighting up a cigarette. And it just, we see his face light up, and it's like, oh, fucking hell, holy shit, we are absolutely buzzing our tits off at this. It is for me one of my favourite moments in the entirety of One Piece. It's not that big, it's not that massive in the scheme of things, but that moment where we are in complete disarray, everything, the rain is exactly how we feel as a reader, that horrible storm, the impending doom coming of both the Straw Hat crew and of this storm that's going to come and swallow up most of Water 7 and leave them without Nico Robin or Usopp, or who knows what's going to happen. We get this little ray of shine and hope in the form of Sanji. It's so fucking good. It's so excellent. And that is where this murder mystery, this complete calamity for the Straw Hat crew comes to a close. And Water 7, for me, as a result of all that, is an S+ for sure for me. It's so good. Water 7, for me, I could possibly say that this is my favourite arc of One Piece. I think it is One Piece at its absolute strongest. I haven't even mentioned Frankie here at all in all of this. I haven't mentioned the Merry and Frankie and Usopp. So Usopp finds Frankie. Frankie's and his family were the ones that beat Usopp to shit. And then Frankie gets a hold of Usopp and basically sort of like starts to relate to him and tells him that there is this thing called the what's it called? Let's have a look here. Does it mention it here? Sky Water 7. What's the water spirit called here? Water 7. It's like the clobber knocker or something. What's it called? One Piece ship spirit. The Klabautermann, which is like a German folklore thing, but within the world of One Piece, Frankie says that basically the ships have a spirit. If the ship is well loved, the ship's spirit will make itself like visible to those that love it, and that is what Usopp saw on Skypeia. The Klabautermann came out, the ship's spirit, and literally fixed itself just in order to do that little bit more. Just being a little bit more than what she currently was. And that is what is there. And it's at that point where CP9 arrive there to get Frankie because they know that he might know the whereabouts of the secret blueprints. Nico Robin is the other half of the equation. She can read the secret blueprints. And they eject the Going Merry out into the sea, the open sea, and Usopp is absolutely devastated. And they take... basically no mercy on him whatsoever. They absolutely batter the shit out of him, take Frankie, and then Nico Robin's voluntarily going with them on that sea train, and that is Water 7. It's so fucking good. Is Luffy stuck being a bottom for the rest of his life? I need a bit more clarification on that one, Jew. And it's so fucking good. It really is. And then coming out of Water 7, Iceberg has another train to follow the previous train, another sea train that can go through the sea on the tracks that they built. There's so much more that I'm not even mentioning here, but it's not worth the time discussing it. For this, I'm probably going to go through Enies Lobby and then maybe what even counts as post Enies Lobby. Oh, there is actually some good stuff post Enies Lobby. So Enies Lobby, it moves into Enies Lobby. Water 7 into Enies Lobby is probably like maybe the strongest pairing of arcs together in all of One Piece. It's so good. Enies Lobby, the arrival at this government outpost, we learn a little bit about the world in the way that the government structures its marine outposts, and the way they've got this enormous whirlpool that connects them to the Grand Line and off the Grand Line. It's really interesting. The world's strongest prison in Impel Down. It establishes a bunch of stuff. It's given us so much information about the world, and this is again part of what makes One Piece so strong, that the world is built up bit by bit by bit. You are not in a world where you only need to know what you need to know and find it out when you need to know it. You find out so much information that establishes the world, that makes it feel living and breathing and dreamlike, whilst also real at the same time. You don't feel like you're just learning the snippets you need to know. You have a world out there that you, the reader, much like the crew, you have an idea about what's out there. You just don't know what it's going to be when you get there. You've got this information. You know about the Grand Line. You know about Impel Down, the prison, before we see anything to do with it. We know about Marine headquarters. We know about the Red Line and this wall that they're going to eventually come back around to. We know about the admirals. We know about Blackbeard. We know about some of the mysterious 7 warlords, as well as the 4 emperors. I think potentially maybe there's been some allusion to the 4 emperors at this point. I'm not sure yet. But at this point, moving into Enies Lobby, they arrive at one of these government installations. Enies Lobby, basically the sentencing post for all of the Grand Line's criminals. The first half of the Grand Line, the criminals go here to be sentenced, and it's pretty much just a straight in. You're a criminal, off you go. You're being sent to Impel Down. Enies Lobby is battle ridden. It is basically laden with fights. It is complex. You've got CP9 being built up. We've had them established all throughout Water 7. They were the shipwrights that we were getting to know. We really loved them as characters. They were funny. They were capable, competent, strong fighters, strong personalities, and some of them were members of CP9 and betrayed, because they were undercover, betrayed everyone that they knew for the last several years they've been working with them. The strength of those characters then gets bolstered by some additional characters we know are from the same unit. We also get some power levels here. We can see that Rob Lucci is the main guy, with the second strongest guy being the wolf guy. I think what's his name? The guy with the giraffe nose. The giraffe, I can't remember his name, but he's the third strongest, isn't he? We get some power scaling given to us, which sets us up for maybe some sort of idea of how strong our own crew members are relative to one another. It's interesting, because this is the nice thing about One Piece. That's pretty much all the power leveling that they do, because we've got bounties within One Piece, but a bounty is not a power level. It is the perception of that character and their strength within the world itself, within the universe. So it isn't an objective, they are this strong and they are this strong. It is from what we've seen and from the villainous things that character's done, or from the deeds that they have achieved, the things they've accomplished, the people that they've beat fairly, they are worth this much. However, it is not representative of their actual strength. Evidence, the most obvious evidence being that Tony Chopper is worth like 33 berries for fucking 10 different arcs, yet he is able to take down incredibly competent. Obviously, we know how strong he is. So moving into Enies Lobby, you've got these CP9 fights built up, but we are basically on the sea train first, and on the sea train, aboard the sea train, we have this character of Soga King, who is the Sniper King. Sniper King. He comes from Sniper Island. He can shoot a bird from 1,000,000 miles away, and he has this interesting weapon, quite familiar, and a nose quite familiar to Usopp. The weapon is different that he's got here, but he's got this mask on. He's masking himself, and at this point, he is clearly Usopp, but will not admit it. And Sanji makes no question of it. He's obviously, he's got the intellect to understand that maybe Usopp can't face being here, but under this guise potentially could be of assistance. And he goes and Sanji's fighting his way through the train carts. There's a lot of interesting. I mean, can you imagine one train chasing the next train? How do you make that interesting? Well, One Piece does it with the way the train cars are being released, with the way they slash the train behind, slashes that in half, slashes a wave in half, like fights all these characters along the way. It's really interesting. We see the different devil fruit powers of CP9. I think Bueno or Bell shows his door fruit on the train there as well. But Usopp is the one as Soga King who goes and speaks to Nico Robin and sort of gives her this, as a person who's left the crew, gives her this reason to think about her life, think about the value of it, think about what she started fostering with the crew here, this friendship, this love that they've been fostering, this camaraderie ship, and potentially that her life is not just something that should be forfeit. She can't just leave everything that she's established. So it's really good writing on the train. It really gears you up to breaking into Enies Lobby. It's a huge marine outpost. There's tons of fighting. They make their way through. They fight the members of the CP9. There's some complex fighting because they need keys in order to open the specific cuffs that Nico Robin is wearing. She's being taken away by this massive douchebag, this enormous douchebag. Can't remember his name, but he is the biggest douchebag in the world. He's such a dick. So you absolutely hate that guy. And we come confronted with this amazing shot. If I just search Enies Lobby, it'll probably have it. There it is, that shot right there. This amazing shot. Wait, no, that's one shot in Enies Lobby crew. Here we go. Why is that doubling up on that there? So there's the manga shot right there. This amazing shot where the crew members who have all come to save Nico Robin are all here. We've got Nami, resolute. We've got Zoro just pissed that he's involved in this because he still suspects Nico Robin a little bit. Luffy who's there. Sanji's chuffed as chips. Chopper is pissed off. Soga King is just fucking absolutely terrified to be there. It's great characterization in that aspect, but then you see these guys on the other side. You see them there with Nico Robin, and the whole thing then flashes back to Nico Robin's past, and we get all of Nico Robin's past all in one big glut, where basically we realize that this douchebag that we've been hating from Cypherpole, from CP9, is absolutely even worse than we thought, because we thought he was already enough of a douchebag. Where is he? Is there a picture of him just here somewhere? We thought he was a douchebag enough as it was, but it turns out that his dad was the person who his dad was the person who basically ended up killing everyone that Nico Robin knew and loved, including her mother, who she was just about to basically get some sort of acknowledgement from that she is her mother and she does love her. The friend that she'd made in this giant called Jaguar D Sol, all of her archaeologist friends in her background, like all of that is so important to her, and that those lives were taken by the father of the very douchebag in front of her right now, who is causing her this much trauma. It's super powerful stuff, and at this very moment she's given up on life. Every crew that she's been with since then, as a child, being basically called a devil, having a 69 million berry bounty put on her. Every crew has betrayed her for the money. Every crew and every person has betrayed her in her life, apart from the Straw Hat crew, who is just now giving her some hope from the short time that she spent with them, from Alabasta through Jura, is it? Whatever the island was called before Skypeia, through to Water 7. This moment comes about where they finally convince her that I want to live. Manga panel, where we get this incredible moment where they finally get her. Luffy says it. He says, I need to hear it from you. Say that you want to live. There it is. Say that you want to live. I want to live. And she bursts out in tears. All of that, everything she's put deep down inside of herself to survive in this harsh world where she is the villain, she is the demon child, she is the devil child of Ohara, who shouldn't be allowed to live. She shouldn't be allowed to have pleasure. She shouldn't be allowed to have friendship or life. Shoot down that flag, and then Luffy, the very moment that she cries out, I want to live, Luffy says, Soga King, shoot down that flag. The flag of the world government, the very flag of that world government, Is there a way for me to give me more options here? I just want to search for a GIF. Can I get a GIF of this, please? That'd be nice. Closely, but look closely. This immense power. Hisatsu, certain kill, Firebird star. He sends this Firebird up at literally the emblem of the world government, the power, the status quo. He's literally saying, I will take on the world, Luffy here, to get back my crew member. I don't care who it is. I will take on God. I will take on the world, the celestial dragons, everyone above this. I will take it on for the sake of Nico Robin. Nico Robin is the crux of this, and it's so powerful, it's so fucking good. And then all of these other fights happen around it. That is the highlight of this arc. All of these other fights happen around that, of course. All of this other stuff goes on and on and on after it. There's more fights, there's more little switches and turns until we get to the end where finally Usopp again is proving himself to be weak. He's Soga King, he can't do anything until Sanji, again being that absolute star of the crew, so good. He's a womanizer, he's a chef. Sometimes he seems a bit and like, why is he in the crew? Like, he's a bit fucked up, isn't he? Pervert guy. But he is so intellectual, he is so in tune with others' emotions. He's really smart, and he says to Usopp, there are things that, you know, only some people, members of the crew, can do. Focus on what you can do. Soga King's the sniper, Usopp is the sniper, and he heads to the roof. He heads to the roof, and from a distance that is imperceivable to the people being shot at, a kilometre away on this bridge that Nico Robin's being taken away from, Usopp is sniping them and saving Nico Robin's life, as it is buying them the very time they need, the moments they need to get a key for her handcuffs to her so that she can basically save herself from this enormous douchebag who's taken her off. And that leads into Rob Lucci versus Luffy, into Usopp being the one to scream at Luffy and tell him he needs to carry on. He reveals the mask, he takes off the mask, he reveals that it is Usopp, that they must continue. What about his dream? Is he going to let it go for that much? And that is what brings Luffy to his feet to defeat Rob Lucci, who represents everything that Luffy hates at this point. The power that's basically trying to take away those that he loves that are around him. And just when they think it's all over, when the very thing that destroyed O'Hara, Nico Robin's island, is there to destroy Enies Lobby, a buster call, the Marines basically nuking this island, the only way out there is to get on a Marine ship and basically escape, but there is no way to do that. There is no way to escape them. And just when they think it's going to go south and this is going to be the end for him, the Going Merry appears to save them all, and it's just this beautiful finale to this entire sort of woven beautiful web between Water 7 and Enies Lobby. It's this finale for me which makes this, it's just S tier. It's the S tier finale to the S plus setup that was Water 7 in my mind. It is just that good. It is so good. The Going Merry appearing, the fact that the gate, the massive gate behind Enies Lobby, part of its power, part of its institution, is the thing that causes them to all of the Marine ships, the 20 Marine ships, the battleships, to collide together and give them this chance to escape. It's just genius. They're basically, for the most part, all escape. It's all nicely wrapped up, really, really tight writing, fantastic stuff. And then right then and there, post Enies Lobby, we get the Going Merry, and we get her funeral, which is probably the saddest moment. If you didn't know about One Piece, if you don't read One Piece, you would be wondering what's so good about it. Well, fucking 400 chapters in, you'll be crying at the death of a ship. You'll be crying over a ship within the story. Fucking floods of tears, mate. Floods of tears. I'm literally like a baby thinking about like the Going Merry's death and how much she appreciates everything that the crew did for her. It's so poignant, and it's a credit to Oda's writing and his ability to form a story which is just so capable of making you feel things so deeply within yourself. excitement, fear, anxiety, triumph, just these moments within yourself. It's fucking beautiful writing. It is possibly, I don't think I've read something as beautifully crafted, as beautifully built, as emotive, as powerful, and as important in a lot of ways. The things that it deals with, corruption and slavery and greed and dreams and love and romance, in the sense of not just romantic romance as in a romantic relationship with someone, but the romance of chasing a dream, of being something, of actually achieving something more than potentially what you were set with to begin with. It just every part of its writing comes together, and this post Enies Lobby section brings in the funeral, the burial at sea of the Going Merry, the building of the new ship. But while that's happening, while we gain, Frankie, I've not even talked about Frankie, but Frankie's established throughout this as a man of character, as a man who basically just wants to build a dream ship, and then the crew manages to convince him quite forcefully with some Nico Robin nut grabbing, forcefully to join the crew. He has not achieved his dream. He wants to achieve his dream of building the dream ship, but part of his dream is seeing that dream ship circle the world, do the whole Grand Line, and there's no way that he will see that happen if he is not there to be the shipwright of the new ship, the Thousand Sunny. And part of the naming of the ship is intrigue as well, because so far you've actually seen in a lot of these arcs that Romance Dawn is the sunshine, isn't it, beginning to rise, the sunrise. Luffy and the crew, in a lot of senses, are emblematic of the sun rising on dark times for these people. The sun is rising on Nico Robin's life right now. She's been through a dark night. It's happening it happened for Skypeia, it happened for Alabasta. They are the sunshine, and their ship is called the Thousand Sunny. The Thousand Sunny. And in a lot of these arcs that has come, that I'll probably discuss next stream when I do this again, those are powerful vehicles for this throughput, this message that the Straw Hat crew, they are the sunrise, they are the dawn, and it becomes really on the nose as we go further and further on. If this metaphor wasn't being picked up as you got to this point, from here on, as we carry on, like it just gets more and more on the nose. It's more of an important theme. It's really incredible. We also get here this incredible moment where the Marines arrive at Water 7 to capture the Straw Hat crew, to capture them. And we meet someone incredibly important. We meet Monkey D. Garp, Luffy's grandfather, and we see immediately the crew's reaction to this. And one of the again, another thing that Oda's so good at is realistic reactions of people we know, or even people we don't know, to shit that is mad. So a lot of the times you get some mangas where they stop the artist, the mangaka will stop taking that moment to pause, stop taking that moment to just breathe and let the world breathe, where it's sort of like, there's no amazement and shock anymore. They lose, because of the pace at which the story's going at, they lose that ability to slow down. And it's one thing that Luffy, it's one thing that Oda, all right, Freudian slip there, it's one thing that Oda is so good at the ability to just stop and wait. And it's why you've got things like this post Enies Lobby, you've got post where is it here? There's another bit here, post Enies Lobby, post-war. After a lot of these arcs, it takes a while it takes like a chapter or two just to recap what's going on in the world. It shows you the reactions of people around the world who are breathtaken by the achievement of these people that they know. We go back and we see Owner Zeph's reaction to something that Sanji's done. We see the people in Windmill Village, where Luffy comes from, reacting to Luffy beating one of the warlords of the sea. We see him now an enemy of the government after Enies Lobby, and we see this, and we get these moments, and we get this moment where the Marines arrive at Water 7, probably with orders to immediately take them. And they say, and his granddad says basically, the fuck are you doing? Luffy, what are you doing? I want you to be a marine. Why are you being a little bastard pirate? And he clobbers Luffy, who's made of rubber, on the head, who we've been shown from time to time again, he's impervious to physical attacks. He can't be hurt by them. And one little knock on the head from his granddad, he's got a huge lump. Again, it's the haki that his granddad has. He's one of the most powerful people in the entire world. He is the hero of the Marines. And he clobbers him on the head with something that didn't look that powerful. And Luffy's literally crying. He's got this bulging cartoon lump coming off his head. It's genius, because it's just, again, a little subtle hint. It's like, how the hell can he hurt me? Why the hell does it hurt? And then somebody else is like, wait, Luffy's made of rubber. And those people are in awe of this, the fact that this guy is able to hurt Luffy. But also then, when they find out that he's the hero of the Garp, the hero of the Marines, is his grandfather, they are then shocked. But then, I don't know, 10 pages later in the chapter, maybe the next chapter, the very next episode, they find out that not only is Garp the grandfather and Luffy is the grandson, but in the middle there is Monkey D. I don't know how they didn't get pieces together, but Monkey D. Dragon is Luffy's dad, and he didn't even know that himself, and he doesn't give a shit. But every other crew member, again, it's just his characterization. It's genius, because he's just so. I don't give a shit. It's nothing to do with me. Who cares? Don't care. I've got my dreams, baby. I've got my family. I've got my crew. I've got my brothers or brother. This characterization of Luffy is, he didn't give a shit, but the rest of his crew are literally jaws to the floor. What the fuck is wrong with this family? Luffy, Dragon, and Monkey D. Garp are just fucking titans right now to them. It's just insane, and all the Marines are fucking like, what the fuck? And then Garp says, he does a Hagrid, he's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's like, I shouldn't have told you that. Literally, he's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and maybe I shouldn't have destroyed that wall. And you get this beautiful moment of just like, as a reader, just like, holy fuck, we meet Kobe again. Helmeppo is turned into someone who's a bit more admirable than the character we met in Romance Dawn, where we met Zoro. Helmeppo was the little shit-eating son of Axand Morgan. Him and Kobe signed up for the Marines proper and have been training under the tutelage of Garp. And there's this funny moment where they don't recognize Helmeppo at all, but they do recognize Kobe. Kobe's now, you can see he's got some of the aspects of CP9's 6 skills, whatever those are called, can't remember of them, but he's got Shigan and Soru or Shave or whatever it's called. He's got the speed one. I think he's got Tekai, the Iron Body, maybe. I can't remember what he's got, but he's got a couple of them. He's learning, and we sort of see where maybe his story is going to take him. And it's really, really good, this part. And what it culminates into is the next afternoon, I think, when the crew is just having some downtime. Garp is now in the dock, basically just biding time, as eventually he knows someone's going to call him and say, what the fuck are you doing? Go and capture the Straw Hats. He's just biding his time until then, just because he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't care. He's going to wait until the order comes that he cannot basically tarry any longer. And Luffy then is anxious at this point. The crew is talking about Usopp, and they're saying, we need to go get Usopp. Basically, they know he's Soga King. They know, apart from Chopper, because Chopper's fucking hilarious. Chopper has no idea that Soga King was Usopp. So they are contemplating this, and the crew's all like, yeah, we need to get Usopp back. We should get him back. He's such a good guy. We love Usopp. Everything's okay now. We should get Usopp back. And then Zoro is the one who shoots this idea down, like shooting down that flag from Enies Lobby of the world government. Zoro foot down Usopp. Ooh. Let's have a look here. It's literally finding things like that. Right, basically, Zoro says no to Usopp coming back. Let's have a little look here. Here it is. So, so he says, it's none of my business that you usually joke around, but if you humiliate yourself yet still want to claim any pretense of being my leader, then I'll be the one to leave the crew. Because he's basically saying, if you want to come back, if you're coming back, can I get this a bit bigger? Open image in new tab. If you're going to come back, I'm going to be the one. Sorry, if you're going to get Usopp back, I'm going to be the one to leave this crew. And Zoro here seems like a douchebag, but then he goes on. Nami's saying, then we'll never come together. Zoro says, I agree that it'd be best if that fool decided to come back, but I will never let him back in if he has no intention of excusing himself and tries to sweep this under the rug. Usopp defied the captain. Usopp left the crew, fought the captain, lost, and Zoro will not accept him back. If he doesn't apologize, they're going to leave him behind. And then this final line, Nami's trying to rationalize it. Wait, Zoro, I know he has all of his faults. Chopper's on the same line. Nami's on the same line here. I know he has his faults, but we complain about it as much as we do. But like, if he wants to come back, and then Zoro fucking puts his foot down and says, "Is leaving the crew such a simple thing? Is leaving the crew such a fucking small thing that he can do it and then come back? Could I just leave and come back? Could anybody just stop off here and leave it? I won't follow someone. I won't follow you, Monkey D. Luffy, if it's not set in stone that we are this crew who we are blood. We are bound." It's so powerful, this moment. It's so fucking strong, and it's where you see that Zoro's character is less one-dimensional than perhaps maybe you thought up to this point, because he is fairly simple, as it's simply written. And I heard a way of putting it that really sort of, I quite liked the way they put this. Zoro is the main character of another manga. He's another manga's main character. He's the main character, the cool, level-headed, calm, gets angry at stuff. Like, he is the cool leader of a completely different manga. And yet he is, in this context, the first mate. He is the right-hand man. He is the one to put his foot down. And you can see over here in the background, Nico, Robin, and Sanji. Nico obviously doesn't have the same breadth and depth of experience with the crew, but Sanji throughout this is also not saying anything at all. And it's at that point that Sanji says that, well, he doesn't say it, he says something like Marimo, Mosshead, is right, because up to this point they've been together for like 500 chapters now, 400 chapters I think, and Zoro and Sanji have yet to say each other's names yet. Basically, it's always been that cook, Mosshead, the swordsman, or whatever the hell it is. They've not referred to each other as their real names yet, and to this day have still not. So this is such a powerful moment, and it's one of the reasons why, like, post Enies Lobby, for me, this on its own is S tier. It's got Monkey D. Luffy meeting Monkey D. Garp, talking about Monkey D. Dragon. It's got meeting some old characters. It's got this powerful moment of, is Usopp going to come back to the crew or not? Is he going to come back to the crew or not? And basically Zoro makes it fucking clear that there will be no return of Usopp unless he begs, unless he grovels, unless he apologizes for what he's done, because it is that seriousness of an infringement upon what Zoro sees as what it takes to be a Straw Hat crew member, what it takes to keep this crew together. Because if it is so easy to leave, then what stops Nami leaving? What stops Sanji leaving? What stops the crew falling apart? And what stops his dream of being the world's greatest swordsman? And what stops Luffy's dream in turn of being the Pirate King from being a dream? It's so powerful. It's such a fucking good moment, and it hurts on the back of my neck just talking about it. And then Garp gets the call. He has to bring them in, and we see Garp with his insane strength chasing them on the sea in their new ship. He's literally throwing cannonballs at them. That's just such a fucking good moment on its own. Garp throwing cannonballs. There we go. He's literally throwing cannonballs at them. We've got some gif for that. Give me some gifs of this. He's literally chucking cannonballs at them. It's brilliant. Like, it's just like, this guy's so insanely powerful. And at that point, all of the crew is getting into full defense mode. They got the brand new ship. Why cannonballs explode in this universe, I don't know, but they do. And then from there, we see the new ship's capability. Frankie, this genius. Let's say 1000 Sunny first coupe de burst. There we go. We see the 1000 Sunny's new capability with this literal fucking jet engine powered by Cola shooting them off into the sky. That's not the actual scene, I don't think, there, but they literally have this new ship that's amazing. Frankie is so confident in it. It's excellent. It's just fantastic writing. It truly is. So up to this point, I have gone through how many of these arcs here? Let's have a look here. 1000 Sunny. So I've gone through 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 arcs, and we've got 14 arcs to go. 14 arcs to go, and I think I'm going to call it here tonight. We've gone through not even half the story, man. This is, it's just, it's peak. These 4 arcs here up to this point are so good. You've got lots of good arcs in between here that just build and build and build, and then, you know, just a few that basically, you know, these are the ones where I worry that if someone was going to read it, maybe they get put off around about these points, but these all have their great moments. These are just consistently strong across their moments here, and then these just fucking blow everything out of the water. Like these arcs here, for me, most of the mangas have one arc this good. One arc, maybe 2, but in the short run up to this of 400, 500 chapters, we've already got 4 fucking incredible arcs from One Piece. Well, I say post Enies Lobby, to be fair, that's just not its own arc, is it? But maybe call it 3, and then we're gonna get some more. But wait, there's more. So there is more to come. I'm gonna talk about those probably, don't know, sometime later this week. We'll see. Oh, actually, my wife is away. Let's see, where are we here? She's out tomorrow night? No, tonight was the night she was out. What day is it today? Oh, today's the 21st, Thursday. So Thursday night, she's going to be away in the Lake District on a spa weekend. So maybe we say that's not tomorrow night, because obviously it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning right now. Thursday is going to be the day. So if we say 2 nights from now, I'll probably continue with this and get this finished. I'll probably upload this to YouTube. I've put some music on in the background that's meant to be loyalty free, but royalty free, not loyalty free, royalty free music. We'll see what YouTube thinks about that when I upload the VOD to this one onto there. A little bit something different for the channel. Probably get like 5 views, but One Piece, something that I'm passionate about. I think I'll have to create a thumbnail for this now, won't I, to be honest. Like I say, it's my favorite manga, probably my favorite story of any form of media that I've ever consumed. And I've seen some good shit in my lifetime, and read some good shit too. It's absolutely superb, and I can't wait to get stuck into this next stretch here. Thriller Bark, Sabaody, or Shabondi, whatever you want to call that one. Amazon Lily, Impel Down, Marineford, and the fucking war, post-war part. Like, all of that is just fucking brilliant, mate. It's all good. And then this, and then this, and then this. Make sure you join me for part 2. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe to make sure you don't miss that. If you're finding this, to be fair, actually, there's a lot of fighting game content on here. I'm not really looking to make myself some sort of YouTuber, but make sure you watch out for the second part of this. But otherwise, for the boys who've been in here watching with me, have a good evening, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.